Well, hello there. This is lesson 3 of chapter 4. We're just moving along. This is great. In our previous lesson, you learned how to graph a line that is represented by an equation. Remember, a line and equation are basically the same thing. They're just different representations. And previously used a table of values, and today we are going to use the X and Y intercept to accomplish the very same thing. But this is not for naught. This gives you a better understanding of how equations and lines and graphing works, and it'll give you a greater appreciation for learning slope-intercept form because it's easier than these two methods. And it's fun because, learning number sense and different skills is fun. But before we start, this isn't going to be a perfect lesson. None of my lessons are perfect, guys. I do my best, and at the end I'll share with you my email, so if you're still stuck, you can hunt me down and I can answer your questions. But we do our best for kids who have been absent, have some lingering questions, need to review, some homework help, and all that. So I do hope this is helpful for you. So here we go. In order to use the X and Y intercepts, you need to know what they are. X-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis. So here's the x-axis. So this is an x-intercept, and this is an x-intercept. Okay. Conversely, now would be a good time for my pen to die. For Pete's sake, the y-intercept, I'm going to try to color code today for you guys, is where the line crosses the y-axis. Good. Now, there's something special about this. No matter where a line crosses the x-axis, we know that for the coordinate that goes with that point, the y part of that coordinate must be 0. Because there will likely be some horizontal movement on the x-axis, but there's no vertical movement up or down from the origin. So this might be like -5, -5, 0, or this would be +3, 0. It's always going to be some number and then 0. So the opposite must be true. For the y-axis, the first part, or the x part of the coordinate, is going to be 0, and the y is going to be some number. So say I don't even know what this would be, because we don't have those things. But it would be 0 and then say, 4. This would have to be 0 and negative some number, right? So it's always going to have 0 out front. Cool. So we're going to use this idea of x-intercept has a 0 in for y, and y-intercept has a 0 in for x, to help us graph equations in a much simpler way. And oh my goodness, it's so fun. Okay. And you don't have to rewrite the equation in function form, and that's a highlight for a lot of kids. So it's just like a two-step process. All you have to do is sub in to find your x-intercept and your y-intercept. You could flip-flop the order if that whatever floats your boat, and then use those 2 points to graph a line on the bottom. Okay, here we do it. So for the x-intercept, it's going to be some number and 0. So we know that y is going to be 0. So because of that, I'm going to put 0 in for y. And everything else is going to come down just like it's typed. I'll try to line it up as best as I can. Okay. So now that I only have one variable in my equation, I can solve for that variable. 2 x's and 3 zeros, though, that's going to be 0. I could have just dropped that. And if 2 x's are 3, a single x, I'm sorry, if 2 x's are 6, I was talking and mathing at the same time. One of those x's is 3. So therefore, the x-intercept will be at 3, 0. 3, 0. That's fun. Now we can find the y-intercept. In the y-intercept, again, we know that the first number is always going to be 0. The x is going to be 0 because we know that the x or the y-intercept is going to be on this line somewhere. There's no horizontal movement, so it's going to be 0 something. Okay, so that means I'm going to put 0 in for x. Everything else comes down unchanged. Like, you can see the difference between black and blue on this video. Silly. Didn't think that through. 2 zeros is 0. You don't have to write that. If 3 y's are 6, 1 y is 2. So therefore, the y-intercept is 0, 2, right? The biggest mistake that I see kids make is they try to solve for x and solve for y and turn them into their own point, like this. That's not a thing. Don't do that. So, you found 0 and 2. That's the y-intercept. And now that you have the 2 of them, dun dun dun, you can make a line. Okay, so here's the downfall of this process. You're only making you're only finding 2 points. So when you're only graphing 2 points, you will always get a straight line. The benefit of using a table of values to graph is you have those 3 points, and if you goof any of your math up, it's going to make not a line, a V, and you're going to be alerted to your mistake, right? So you could, if you wanted to, like if you're taking a quiz or something, make yourself a little table of values off to the side and see if what you have found is actually true. It's like combining all of the skills together to attend to precision and to be accurate. It's a thing. Okay. So, practice makes perfect. Here's some practice for you. I know you're so excited. Okay, so this homework assignment looks big, like overwhelming, lots of things. It's so doable. It's not as hard as it looks. Trust me, I'm a professional. All right, so it says to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So the x-intercept, again, is where the line crosses the x-axis. It's a coordinate. This is a point. I'm going to write a coordinate for point 1, 2, 3, 0. And then you're going to do the same for the y-intercept. Like so. That's how you do that. Easy peasy. Okay. For this next section, you need to find the x-intercept of the graph. See if you remember. You are going to sub 0 in. Are you going to sub in 0 for x or for y? You are going to sub 0 in for y. So, my pen. I usually have nicer pens, but I left them at school, so I'm just dealing. Okay, so 0 will always go in for y. So let me do an example for you. Oh, let's do 4. So the original equation is x plus y equals 5. We're looking for the x-intercept, so I'm going to put 0 in for y. I haven't said it yet in this video, but we say it a lot in class. Anytime you're substituting a number into an equation, write it in parentheses because that communicates that you got that number from somewhere else. You will be glad you did that later in life. Hey, you don't need to write plus 0, do you? So x is just 5. Boom. So that means your x-intercept is 0.0, or sorry, 5 and 0. So if you were going to graph that line, it would go through the x-axis, like right there. Cool. All right. That's not so hard. All right, now we're going to find the y-intercept. Well, if the x-intercept and the y-intercept are basically opposites, now you're going to put in 0 for x. So let's try one. 10. y is negative 3x's minus 4. Now instead of x, let's put in 0. I like putting in 0 because oftentimes it just zeroes out, right? I don't need to bring down whatever negative 3 times 0 is because 0 times anything is 0. So these are just gone. Now if you like to show all the steps, you can. But a lot of us are just going to go straight to negative 4. So that means that the coordinate is going to be 0, negative 4. And that's where the line goes through the y-axis for that equation. Cool. All right, now we're going to actually graph. Super fun. Hey, when you are doing your homework, please write section number and your name. Write the question number here. Okay. This is just beginning graphing. So if the x-intercept is 2 and the y-intercept is also 2, that's how your line's gonna go. With a straight edge, you wouldn't dare freehand this thing, would you? That'd be bad. Let's write our intercepts, by the way, just for fun, you know. Just so I know you know the difference. Cool. And then the bottom, this is where it all comes together. This is going to be so great. Find the x and y intercept so that you can graph them. So let's do one just for fun. Oh, let me get a brush spot. Okay, let's do, oh, I won't do the easiest one. Let's do 26. Don't say I never did anything for you. Pick a moderately difficult one. Y is 2x's minus 4. Okay, here we go. Let's find the x-intercept. So that's when we put in 0 for y. So 0 is 2x's minus 4. Solve for x. 4 is 2x. See what my answer is going to be, but I'm going to be a role model and show all of my work. So we found our x-intercept. What we said is when we put in 0 for y, we get 2 out for x. So that is one of our points. Let's do it again. This time we're going to put 0 in for x to find our y-intercept. So instead of the x, I put in 0. Y equals 2 zeros is nothing. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. So that to show when I put 0 in for x, I got negative 4 out for y. And so now, knowing that, I can make a point at 2, 0 and 0, negative 4. 2, 0 and 0, negative 4. And this is a line that represents the equation. Boom. Isn't that fun? Excellent. Okay. We're going to save the word problems for class. I want to be greedy. Sorry. Yeah, we'll do the word problems in class. Great. If you are lost as to what we are doing, I'd like to help. You can always just send me your question, take a picture of your work and say, hey, am I doing this right? Or you can say, can you get me started on this question? I'd love to do that. Okay, so that's my email address. Shoot me an email if you're stuck or see me at class. Thanks, guys. Bye.